good to have you back on another episode of Sunrise to Health. I'm Kavita Sidhu, and I wish we all look forward to a beautiful day ahead. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We mustn't become obsessed with what we think is conventional. Even though we do not encourage you to have a stick-thin body, we do encourage you to obtain an ideal body weight. So that's good for health and good for the eyes. Our lovely fitness guru Nini is going to take us through a series of exercises that will help promote the ideal body weight and some weight loss. So that should make us all happy, right? Our breakfast recipe today is really interesting. It will be full of vitamins and goodness and perfect for that body. Our coffee chat today is with Mr. Ho Takulun. He's back again, and this time he's going to be talking about understanding mindfulness to manage stress. That should be really interesting as well. So please stay with us. And right now, over to you, Nini.
Good morning everyone, I am Nini. Today I'm going to introduce you to a breathing exercise and an energizing sequence that you can practice every day so that you can achieve your ideal weight or simply to feel rejuvenated, alive and radiant for the entire day. This breathing exercise is also effective to help expel out resentment, sadness, stress and anger from our body. We are going to begin by taking an inhale through the nose. On the exhalation, we're going to lightly bend our knees and exhale all the air out of our stomach and lungs with a big sigh. And from there, taking another inhale again, staying in this standing position. Now, without taking any more breath, we're going to exhale 20 times through the nose. 10 more. 18, 19, 20. Stand up again on the next inhale. Repeating the same thing. Exhale through the mouth and inhale. And exhale 20 times with no more inhales. 10 more. 2 and 1. Standing up again. And if you have time, you can repeat this for another 3 more times, making it 5 times before we start with our energizing sequence. For the energizing sequence, let's turn to our left or preferably facing the sunrise and get our feet hips width apart. We are going to do 2 rounds of this, and I advise for you to take an inhale anytime you're about to look up and lengthen the energy line of our body or just our spinal posture. From here, we are going to stretch our hands up to the sky, enjoying the beautiful morning on the inhale. On the exhale, just rest our hands not to the knees but onto the shin. On the next inhale, look up, lengthen the spine. On the exhale, lower your hands down in front of your toes, and we're going to stretch our right leg back and drop the knee down to the floor. On the next inhale, look up again, flatten the palms and raise the back knee off the floor. Exhale, taking it to look like an inverted V shape from the side. Here, we might just want to turn our head to the left and right as if you're saying no, and then nod our head as if you're saying yes. On the next inhalation, look up to the hands again, and we're going to drop the knees slightly to the floor. This promotes strong core and also strong arms and healthy wrist. From here, we're just going to flatten the feet and lower our chest in between of the hands. Next pose helps promote long and healthy back. Raising up on the inhalation. And on the exhalation, lower ourselves down. How we got here, we're going to trace the same way back. Curling our toes in again, taking an inhale. Exhale, just come back to the half plank pose. And from there, taking it back to the inverted V shape. One more time, shake our head about and then nod the head to also correct improper posture of how we've been sleeping the night before. Finishing off, high off the heels and stepping again our right foot this time around behind the right hand and drop the back knee down. On the inhale, look up. And on the exhale, the back foot now in front of the left. Hands back on the shin, looking up on the inhale. If possible, to finish off, we're going to try to slide our hands down a little bit lower to the ground, closer to our ankles or feet. And slowly from there, bend your knees to protect your low back and come back to standing up as if you're standing on top of a beautiful mountain enjoying the sunrise. And from there, release. We are going to repeat that energizing sequence one more time, but with a little twist to speed up the process of strengthening, stretching, and achieving your weight loss. With the same pose to start, we're going to extend our arms and expand our chest on the inhale. But I want you to challenge yourself by doing this by testing your balance and stand with your heels off the floor. And that's it. Release the heels down. For the second pose, we are going to slowly again slide the hands down the shin. And this time around, we're going to touch our hands down to the floor, only on the fingertips, and try to stand one more time with our heels off the floor. And lower the heels down and level the hands beside the feet. We are going to stretch a different leg this time around by stretching your left leg back. And from here, we're going to drop the back knee down. And one more time, reaching your hands up to the sky. If possible, let's open our heart and lightly extend our upper back as well without compressing the lower back, and keep our face soft and relaxed. And lower the hands. And from here, one more time, you're going to look like an inverted V shape. In this pose where we released our neck earlier, I invite you to take a bigger stretch by raising your heels off the floor and lengthen our spine by looking to the space in between of our fingers. From there, we're going to drop our forearms and elbows to the floor. And for a bigger and more delicious stretch, let's lower our heels down to the ground and staying here for a couple more breaths. From there, lower our knees down to the ground and just scoot our knees back so that our body gets really flat on the ground. And from there, we're going to raise our head up. So this is the easier version of this pose that we did in the last round. Or for a bigger opening in our heart, we are going to try, without moving the palms, straighten the arms. Keep our face soft and let's try to release all of the discomforts out of our breath. And lower ourselves one last time. We are going to unfold again from here by curling our toes in, placing our hands beside the chest, and going back straight onto the inverted V shape. And from there, we are going to raise our heels off the floor and stepping one more time. Left foot just to the behind of your left wrist and lower your back knee down. Just like how we started, but on the other side, now we are going to raise our hands to the sky and relax the hands. And from there, for balance, walking our hands a little bit forward, stepping the back foot to the front, level with the left foot. And from there again, looking up, keeping the spine long. And just like how we started, we're going to try to raise our heels off the floor. And from there, drop the heels down. Don't forget to always keep your knees slightly bent anytime you're about to stand up or to lower down to protect the low back. And from there, one last time, opening our arms, expanding our chest, and try one more time to challenge your balance by standing only on your toes. And release. Try to repeat this every morning, just about when the time is about to rise and on empty stomach. Have a wonderful day today.
Hi, I'm here with Ho Tak Lun, the founder of Clove & Clive, and today we're going to be discussing about mindfulness and stress. Thank you so much for coming by this morning.
My pleasure.
So let's talk about mindfulness and stress, and why is it that we feel stress? And so what does that say about how we perceive obstacles in life? Maybe you can help us out with that.
The question we need to ask is why stress arises, and rather what is stress on its own. If you were to be more mindful of your mind, you will start to notice that stress has a simple definition of the mind not ready to accept what is being given at a point of time. Now, if the mind couldn't accept it at a point of time, the next question you can ask is due to what? It could be because the mind is not skillful in accepting what is in front. The mind may be not familiar with what is in front of us, like for example, coming to a new environment and you're not used to it, the stress is there. Or it could be sometimes due to the mood of the time when you're being given a task, So there are many reasons to stress, and that points very clearly that stress has a lot to do with your mind rather than what is being given to you.
Right, and also past experiences maybe that influences how we perceive a situation.
Because the already always mind, it is always constantly on the lookout for a situation that matches. So when a situation is being given, that mind reacts naturally again. So in terms of obstacles, you can see from this analogy of how you're in the river itself. Now, if you're in the river, you're able to flow with it. But the very moment you turn your direction and look at the opposite direction of the river, you will be seeing that the river seems to be gushing at you. In a situation, in any situation for that matter, it can be seen from the angle of stress or what can I learn from it. Yes. So if you see from stress, then you will tussle with it, you will resist it. Whereas when you ask the question, what can I learn from it? What is producing the stress? What can I make it less stressful? And in that way, when you become more truthful to yourself, then there is a possible way of giving yourself a choice to look at it differently.
So Tak Lun, when we talk about a practical example, for instance, when someone is ill and their mind is weakened, maybe with the pain and with the treatments that they have to go through, having to deal with the hospital bills and even the fear of mortality. So what advice would you give for people going through this?
From the perspective of my own personal journey, I've experienced a few times where I did minor operations, and even recently when I was about to go through a retreat and suddenly I just got a fever and I couldn't do it anymore. And the fever was pretty heavy on me, it takes a toll on me. But with mindfulness, it has been a very interesting journey because I begin to notice how the mind complains, how the mind is resisting what is taking place, and I'm just there with it without judging it, without interfering with it, but just look at it from a very objective manner. Mortality. I presume that all of us have fear when it comes to that, even though we may try to be positive about it. But the question is not about the death per se that we are frightened of. Rather, it is the story in our mind that is telling what is going to happen. So again, when you become mindful of your mind, you start to notice that the story is not necessary anymore. Happening is happening.
Right.
Death itself is also happening on its own, but how the mind receives it is another thing altogether.
So it's like living in the now and going it from moment to moment
yes.
rather than trying to predict what's going to happen.
Yes.
It's interesting that you've not mentioned about a positive mind. You've only just stressed on being aware of what you're feeling and what your mind is going through. Why is that?
When we talk of positive mind, we are also talking of negative mind because it comes in pair. You cannot be talking about positive mind without actually talking about negative mind. Now, mindfulness is neither about that. Mindfulness is about acknowledging the positive mind as positive and the negative mind as negative. It is not about drowning into it because when we become positive, there is a tendency of being overconfident. There's a possibility of being what is the word to use?
Egoistic.
Becomes egoistic, So whereas when you're mindful, you start to see that they are just nature of the mind. You become more compassionate because when you have mindfulness, there is an understanding of yourself and there is an understanding of other people, how people react, how people respond. You can see a very clear picture, the workings of their minds.
Yes. So really it's like, in a way, happiness in moderation. Does that make sense?
I would say it's happiness in perpetual state.
Oh, Oh, that's lovely.
Because you are not judging it anymore. You're not seeing right or wrong in a sense. You are learning to understand situation per se. You're not condoning situation, neither are you going against situation. You're learning about it. And through the wiser part of you, you knew what is beneficial and what is not beneficial, and you take the appropriate action. That is not just for yourself, but also for the community at large, because we are living in a place where everyone is important. Of course, there are times when you forget to be mindful and you fall into the trap of the mind again. But through a long-term training of being aware, being mindful, you catch up yourself being more wakeful more frequently.
So really, for people out there who want to start practicing being more mindful, I think one of the important things to remember is that, as you just said, it is a process that you have to teach yourself to be aware of your mind, and sometimes you fall back into that old habit of thinking about too many things and not being mindful. So it's just practice. Every day you just kind of move forward. And
one of the good ways that we teach in Clove and Clive is about, instead of trying to be aware, give yourself the interest to know yourself a little more. You know, probably question like, what is my mind doing? You know, why is it reacting that way? Why is it judging? You're not making a judgment of your mind, but you're just being interested why the mind is doing that. Now, the moment you're interested, naturally you become mindful. You get what I'm saying? Because the moment you're aware of being interested about your mind, the awareness is already there.
Fantastic, interesting. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Very interesting. Please, let's have some cake. Well, that's all we have for this week, and I hope that you've been inspired by this show. I know I have, so I'll see you again soon, okay? And remember, healthy body, healthy mind. Bye.